Ambassador Meera Shankar, the Prime Minister's advice to all the G20 Foreign Ministers was that the voice of Global South needs to be heard. According to you, ma'am, key takeaway, is the voice of Global South being ignored by the developed countries?
Well, I wouldn't say it's being ignored, but I think that divisions over Ukraine threaten to overwhelm the discussions in the G20, which were really not meant to deal with security or geopolitical issues. They were really supposed to focus on reviving sustainable economic growth, looking at sustainable development and climate change, looking at cooperation to address global pandemics. And there's a whole range of issues which were on the agenda of the G20 as priorities. And today we are seeing that the impact of the conflict in Ukraine has left economies, particularly in the developing world, reeling, trying to deal with the consequences of something that they had nothing to do with and are not really participating in. So fertilizer prices, food prices, energy prices, availability of energy, all these have become very serious issues for developing countries. If you look at South Asia itself, you can see economies collapsing all around. Sri Lanka today still has 50% inflation and is trying to negotiate a loan with the IMF to deal with its debt default, which had taken place because they didn't have enough foreign exchange for
and
their
yet
import
the entire
requirements.
conversation from the Western countries, ma'am, appears to be focused around the Russia-Ukraine conflict. So, Ambassador Prabhu Dayal, is the West trying to hold Global South hostage to this Russia-Ukraine conflict? Is that what is happening?
No, I think that the Russia-Ukraine conflict is the elephant in the room. Nobody wants to talk about it, but at the same time it can't be ignored because it impacts all aspects of the global economy. There is a shortage of food, of energy, there is global inflation, there are lower demands of goods and services, there is the falling economic growth in the developing countries. But the problem is that all these factors are being impacted by the Russia-Ukraine war. And that is why our Prime Minister had to emphasize that India's G20 presidency is for the Global South. The problems of the Global South have to be attended to, they have to be given due attention, and that the Russia-Ukraine war, which is so divisive, should not be allowed to take the focus away from these issues. So you're right that the Russia-Ukraine war is coming in the way. It is not something that the G20 should be dealing with, because the G20, as you pointed out, is an economic organization. But nonetheless, the situation is such that this war is having a very devastating effect on the global economy and in particular on the countries of the Global South.